Hey guys and girls, I just wanted to do hopefully a quick video. Hopefully I don't ramble too much about an update on issues with background checks and Uber. I have been driving for Uber on and off over the last, I think, 7 years in the state of Arizona. And I haven't done it for over a year, but I moved to New Hampshire, about 3,000 miles away. Of course, got a new driver's license. I got a new vehicle in New Hampshire as well. And about 2 weeks ago, I decided that I wanted to set up my Uber account again and be able to drive up here and make a little extra money, which is what I always use it for. And so a couple weeks ago, I went into my app and I added my new vehicle. And when I did that, of course, it asks you for the things that it asks all of us for, right? It asks you for the registration and get a vehicle inspection and upload that, and then as well as insurance. And it also asked me for my current driver's license. By the way, I went into my profile and I changed my address because I'm in a new place. And so not knowing really how to do things and just kind of doing it on my own, I figured, well, you could do everything from the app. So I changed the address and I made sure that it was in there. I logged out, logged back in, and it had my new address in there. So that was all set. So anyways, I uploaded all these things and I also submitted for the background check. Well, I got a few things back right away on as far as documents. I think it was insurance and registration. I got those back as approved. And so that was quick. Background check, I think maybe took 24 hours or something like that. And I got an email from Checker, and it said pre-adverse. There was some pre-adverse information on my background check. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good. I wonder what that's about. So in the emails that we get on that, there's a way you can log in to look at your report. And so I did that. And as I'm looking at the report, I noticed right away that the only information that's in there at all, it has my Arizona driver's license number, which is, I don't even have that license anymore. And it was my old zip code as well, was in that information. And really that was it. It didn't have anything else on it, which it shouldn't. I haven't had a ticket in 25 years. So, and I haven't had any type of criminal history or anything like that. So I called Uber support and I said, I got this notification, from Checker that there was issues. And I said, I noticed that it was my old driver's license number from where I used to live and, an old zip code. And the support person basically said to me, and I'm a little of this is fuzzy, the details, but basically said to me, oh, it takes, it's okay. It's still in review. We just have to review it. That's all. So you just have to sit tight. I'm like, oh, how long does that take? Oh, 5 to 15 days, I believe was what they said. And I'm like, 5 to 15 days. When I signed up 7 years ago in Arizona, I'm pretty sure that I got the information in and I went to a local Uber kind of office setup and got the inspection right away. I'm pretty sure I got in there in a day. Like I was picking people up that day. That's how fast and easy it was. That was a long time ago, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it did take a couple days, but I seem to remember thinking that was fast and easy. And so anyways, I waited, which is what I was told to wait. Well, I waited the 5 days and I called back again. And I said, there's no change in the background check And every time I called there, which I called there a ton over 2 weeks period, I got a different person, right? And just a small note, these were always people from outside the country, at least I'm guessing, because that's what it sounds like. Let's just say that English is not their first language. They speak English just fine, but English is not their first language. I'm saying that, and there's a point to that I'm going to bring up here in a minute. But anyways, each one that I spoke to, I would say, it had my info on that DMVR or whatever that they run, the background check. It had Arizona stuff on there, not my current state, which is New Hampshire. Oh, it's okay, we're just backlogged, and everything's fine. And they're like, you need to get your inspection done. And I'm like, I know I need to get my inspection done, but I'm not going to pay, because it was showing me in the app the inspection places around here, and they were like 40, 50, 60 bucks, which I wasn't used to either, because in Arizona, I think the first time I got an inspection it was free, and then the next time it was like 20 bucks. So I wasn't used to paying that much for an inspection either. So I held off because I wanted that background check to clear before I spent the money. Well, it just has been going on and on now for 2 weeks. After probably, I would say, 6 calls to 6 different customer reps, I finally got one where I explained again, like I did every one of them, that I was a little bit concerned because I moved to a new area, but the background check seemed to have Arizona information on it. And I said, if that's the case, that's going to be a problem, because I don't have a license in Arizona. I've moved 3,000 miles away to New Hampshire. And they finally said, this one was like, that could be the problem. And I'm like, I have said this and explained this to every customer service rep that I've spoke to in the last week and a half. Okay, let's get this fixed. So she goes into the account. Basically, she's like, I'm not sure she knows what to look for. And I'm like, well, first of all, where does it show me living in your, in the system that you're looking at? Arizona. I'm like, I don't live in Arizona. I don't live there anymore. I changed the information in the app. Do you need to change the information in the system? Yes, I think we should change the information. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. So she changed that. At the same time, I said, the other problem is I noticed that my old car is still on there. The old car that was registered in Arizona. I don't own it anymore. I don't have that car. Oh, that shouldn't be in there either. I think we should take that off. I'm like, yeah, let's take that off. So she said she took it off. And then she said she cleared everything. She goes, you may need to resubmit. You're going to need to, no, she said, you're going to need to resubmit your insurance, your inspection, which I had gotten by that time. I found a place that was free. And then, all the documents. And I said, okay. And I did that. And she said, I believe she told me that within 24 hours, so it should all be done. 2 days later, which is today, I called. And I've spoken to 4 different people today, even. My Arizona car was still in there. I finally got one guy today, the second guy I talked to this morning, and I explained the situation to him, and he seemed to understand it and comprehend it very quickly. And he's like, no, your address is correct, but the Honda is still in there. And I'm like, that was supposed to have been deleted. Okay, he deleted it. He's like, okay, I'm going to expedite this, which I had been told several times before that people were going to expedite the process, right? I'm going to expedite it in the next 15 minutes to half an hour. I'll have all of these reviewed and approved. And then after that, everything's fine on the background check. I'm like, everything's fine on the background check? Yeah, everything's fine. So within minutes, the registration and the insurance were reviewed and approved. I took a break, came back to my phone, and I had a message, you need to resubmit a form, the inspection form. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it again, I guess. So I resubmitted that and I gave it another half an hour. Nothing, still in review. So like 45 minutes later, I call in again, and the guy's like, oh no, this takes 5 to 15 days. And I'm like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have been through it too. Just really frustrating. Okay. I'm still waiting for the approval on the inspection. I found out in my state, they actually don't need the inspection form. They actually need a picture of the inspection that the state of New Hampshire does on your vehicle. That's all that's needed, which makes sense because they look at all of that stuff, your tires and your rust and everything. I mean, actually, it's more intensive than the Über inspection. So I'm waiting for that. But so here's the moral of the story. I'm sorry if I rambled on, but in my case, I had to keep calling and I had to walk each person through. Now, remember I mentioned that there were people who English wasn't their first language. They spoke good English, fairly good, most of them. But here's where I think the problem is. When issues get a little intensive and difficult to understand, if English is not your first language, it just goes right over your head. And I think I had a lot of people just giving me everything's fine, 5 to 15 days, it'll be fine. Because they didn't understand the intricacies of the fact that I moved and I had an old vehicle in there and I've got a new license now and all this stuff, which isn't difficult for us to understand. But I think the language barrier does make that more difficult for them to understand. And that's why I've made zero money in the last 2 weeks. And really, shame on Uber. Okay, look, drivers, corporate employees, all of us, we're all a part of Uber. So Uber, don't get angry for me making this video. But they need better training, and the process has gotten way more difficult. This isn't an issue that I've heard for many other background check issues, that there's a backlog. I haven't had that issue. My delays have not been because of backlogs. My issues have been because of Uber customer support people not knowing what to look for, what questions to ask, and what processes to complete to get things done. So you have to walk them through it, and you have to keep calling back, and you've got to look at everything that comes in, and you've got to ask those questions when you talk to customer support, or else they'll sit on it. And I guarantee you, it's been 14 days today, I believe, or 15 days, I think, today. So initially I was told everything would be done today. Well, I suppose there's still a chance, but I still have an inspection that's pending. One guy I talked to this morning, he actually made things happen. He's like, in the next 15 minutes, your stuff is going to be approved. and he got 2 of the things approved. One of them, I don't know what happened. I had to resubmit that inspection. So anyways, guys, I know there's a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different issues, but if you happen to have moved to a new place, hopefully this video helps a little bit, and hopefully you get approved and get on the road and are able to make some money. Talk to you soon. Bye.